He's the event ringmaster whose innovative ideas always click perfectly. It's Event About It with Will Curran. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Event About It. I'm your host, Megan Martin, and our guest this week is the man who puts event in innovation, the visionary leading the wearable revolution. Welcome to the studio, Will Curran.
Thanks so much for having me, Megan. This is so awesome.
I'm so excited to be here. You have done so many podcasts and have sort of inspired me to do something a little different and fun. And of course, I had to have you on as one of the first guests.
Oh, well, I think you're already beating me in creativity like 1,000 points, 100%.
I mean, most people will probably figure this out at some point, but I mean, obviously I'm a Bravo junkie. And so I mirrored this whole podcast off of Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live.
Ooh,
So like, that's sort of my inspiration. Like, I think I've watched literally every single episode trying to like get it together for this.
You're like diagnosing and figuring out the best formula for it. I mean, honestly, the best things in the events industry come from outside the events industry. So I'm 100% for stealing the idea.
Yeah, in the first episode, we recorded with the producer of this, and I actually talked a lot about how, you know, of course I read a lot of things about the events industry, but I think one of the things you and I connected over was reading outside of the events industry, like social science books. I mean, Brain Rules was one of the John Medina and all that stuff. Like we just kind of geek out on it.
Definitely. I'm all for it for sure.
Well, and that kind of leads me to one of the first things I wanted to ask you was, I love that on your website, you know, front and center bio, you kind of talk about your personality types, type 2, ENFJ, I'm an INTJ, sometimes ENTJ, depending on the moment. And to quote your website, you said, thinking of new solutions helps me remain excited for what's to come. Which makes complete sense to me when we factor in that you're the head of Click at Bizaboo, founder of Endless Events, creator of the Eventprof community, which if you're not a part of, highly recommend, and host of multiple podcasts, Event Icons, Event Brew, and the Event Tech podcast. So the famous dumb question is like, how do you do it all?
You know, be honest, no one really asks that question a lot of ways because some people, I think, like when they meet me, they immediately go like, oh, wow, look at his energy. He must be like, you know, drinking 1,000 Red Bulls like a minute. So like, I think one thing that helps is that like all these things were not started at once, right? Like one thing leads to the other, And it's definitely an evolution too. Like, and some things you decide that you're like, hey, like I need to roll this down and spend less time into it. This more in this area. So like, for example, like Endless Events, which was my agency I started, it grew for many years. And that was like my main focus. And I remember even for years saying, I'm not going to do anything else. I don't have the capacity to run 2 companies. You know, I'm not like a serial entrepreneur over here. I mean, I guess I am some ways with the podcast and stuff. But then, you know, like as my like need to be involved in the day-to-day and run events, like I started focusing more on content and stuff like that. And like nowadays, like Endless just runs itself. I just own the business, but they have an amazing team that runs it, and they're actually killing it. They're doing better than ever when I was there. So
sometimes you got to get out of your own way. I think.
Exactly. And so that's one reason how I'm able to do it all. I think the other reason too is that like I always just try to find things that like complement each other and kind of like build upon each other. So like, for example, my work at Click is very much about like evangelizing this future technology, not even future technology, the technology that's now through wearables. And for me, it was this natural thing where I was already a customer of Click's. I was already a big fan of it. And so like, you know, you basically say, hey, your job is to go out and evangelize and get us customers. And I'm like, I'm down. Like I'm already selling this to my customers as is. Like everyone needs to have this. And seeing that tremendous growth was just a natural kind of extension of myself versus it being like a ill-natural way.
Or like another thing, like, oh, I'm just going to go do another thing. It was like a natural progression of like, well, of course this makes sense. I'm already sort of an influencer, lover of the product. Like, of course I would go sell it.
Definitely. And I think to your point too, like more you probably see in like my personality profile, and then also, you know, me personally, is that like I just have a shit ton of passion. So I'm all about like, you know, using that energy to focus it in on a specific thing. And if I'm passionate about it, the energy comes naturally, and I just want to talk a million miles about it.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, given your setup, I think this is the most perfect segue into sort of our first game. But a lot of people don't know that you started your career in high school, specifically doing like DJing events in high school and college is sort of how you got your start. So I want to play a game called Scratch or Scam. get ready to test your DJ knowledge with our exciting
Oh.
game. In this challenge, we're going to present a series of names, and your task is to determine if they're a real DJ or not.
Oh my gosh. See, this is what's so funny is like I remember freshman year of college going to like a in the first week of school they did like a business school camp and they did like guess the song and at this point I was like full on DJ. Like this was my life. And that they're like we're so set. We have Will, he's a DJ. I'm terrible. Like I know a lot of music, but whenever they pick these sometimes they go down like the popular stuff. So we're going to see how I do. Don't judge me. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. Scratch or scam? First up, DJ Snake.
Oh, definitely real. Yeah, yeah. He's
Real.
so it's a scratch then. So yeah,
Yeah,
scratch
you
is
play
real.
us a scratch. Play
All
us
right,
a
all
scratch.
right.
There we go. MC Hammer.
Real scam or not scratch.
He's actually a rapper, not a
Yeah.
DJ.
Oh, so okay, so not, rappers don't count. So I thought
Rappers
you were
don't
so
count.
that okay, so whether they're a DJ or not. Okay, I'm getting this game. Okay, I'm ready. I get one blunder. Here we go.
Yeah,
I'm
you got
feeling
one.
good about this.
DJ Tanner.
Uh, it's a scam. It's a joke from Popstar the movie.
Well,
DJ
actually, she's
Tanner.
a character on Full House. She was
Oh,
the little annoying little sister.
oh yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, see, even better. It's also a joke too from Popstar. If you ever seen that movie, it's a good one.
It is a good movie. Spin Doctor.
That's a real one. Yeah.
Oh, is it? I said
Spin
no.
Doctors, spin doctors, so like
Spin
yeah, they
Doctors.
create their own music. But like, did they DJ? I don't know. So I'll say scam if they didn't DJ, but yeah, they made music. So we'll go scam.
All right, Spin Doctor, yes. Spin Doctor, no. A political term for media person.
Oh,
Spin
that
the
also makes sense.
narrative.
That also makes sense too.
Yeah. DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh yeah, definitely real.
Oh, for sure. Steve Aoki.
Real. Yeah, yeah. So
Of
scratch.
course, everyone knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Throws cakes in people's faces.
He does. There's actually a really, really great documentary about him. I can't remember who put it out, but I didn't know his dad was the founder of Benihana.
Oh yeah, yeah. He comes from
And
the
like
Benihana royalty for sure.
right, and like he totally got the shaft, and like his sister basically got to live off family money, and Steve had to like work for it. Oh, it's a fascinating story.
Definitely.
All right, DJ Suki.
Man, I know Wookie, Wuki. Suki, no, we're gonna say scam.
Yeah, scam, a character from Trolls.
Oh, okay. I obviously have seen the Trolls movie.
And last one, DJ Pauly D.
Oh yeah, scratch for sure. I've seen him live in Vegas like less than a year ago for our cousin's like birthday or something like that. He can hold some weight for sure.
I can't remember if he was DJing when he joined Jersey Shore, or
I think
like
he did. Yeah, that's what like blew him up. Everyone's like, he's like the most famous DJ. You know, like
Gotcha.
it definitely was. It was smart move on his end. Like his
Oh, for
DJ
sure.
career probably wouldn't have existed without that show.
Oh, I mean, the best Guido DJ out there, probably.
Definitely.
At least the name recognition alone.
Yes,
Sure.
definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks for playing Scratch or Scam.
I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do.
Hey, I tried to make. I didn't make it too hard. I tried.
Yes,
not to.
thank you. So I'll take softball. The next time I come back on the show, you'll have to just hit me even harder.
All right. We'll make a harder game next time you come. All right. So our next segment is actually one of my absolute favorites. It's my favorite therapy session to do with guests, and that's our vent of the week. This is where we let it all out. The event fails, unexpected chaos, and those are you kidding me moments. No filter, no sugarcoating, just real talk about wild world of events. So buckle up because this week's event is a good one. I actually first saw this post in Club Ichi. So if you guys aren't on Slack, highly recommend joining Club Ichi, or at least join the conversation on Slack if you're not going to be a paid member. It's worth it. But this post on there, it was a screenshot, and the screenshot said, the ad said, your 6-figure marketer, now just $2,000 a month. And you covered this on your LinkedIn Live, your marketing. I forget what you're calling it.
I just call it like that. I just read the headlines. The Will Curran live stream.
Today's hottest headlines. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So you covered this also. I mean, in all fairness, I'm kind of glad that marketing is getting the like everyone can be a marketer now that meeting planners have had for like I can plan parties so I can do your job. You know, it's kind of nice that marketing's getting now, but like thoughts on this? Is it frustrating to you to see these like, hey, I can do your marketing?
I think agents were known to be coming, right? Like the second that they start speaking like humans, like we kind of started raising the alarm bell. No, I'm not frustrated by it. I think on my live stream too, I said, well, this is kind of crazy because I'm the level I think in which we are in is like the knowledge worker, advanced knowledge worker. And I was like, well, cool. Good to know that an AI's value of my amount of knowledge is $2,000. Because like the next level was something like a coder, and I'm like, I'm not a coder. And then the next level was like a PhD. I think it was like it goes $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. So I knew that AI was eventually going to come for me. My question is whether I will be like shielded from it in any sort of way, or will I be able to capitalize on it? And I think the best thing I can do right now is just like, well, if $2,000 a month is what it takes to do me, well, maybe I can stay getting paid more than $2,000 a month, and then just
Right.
have an AI do all my work for me.
There
So
you go.
yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that I understand that as long as we have some other value that we can continue to bring into the economy, like I'm totally cool with this idea of AIs doing stuff. Because to be honest, like no
Sure.
one wants to like do RFPs for venues. They just want to go look at the venues and like use your creative energy. You don't want to budget for the event. You just want to make sure you're on budget or to
Right.
find more budget so you can do more creative things. Like all the things that I think that everyone's worried that our jobs are going to replace. Let's be honest, no one enjoys doing them. If you actually enjoy budgeting and that sort of thing, I don't know who
Yeah,
you
good
are.
for
You're
you. It's
crazy.
the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. So I'm totally comfortable with the idea. And my biggest thing is I'm just trying to stay on top of it. Like I'm trying to use these tools and recognize
Yeah,
that until the day that someone says, honestly, you're unhireable because an AI can do everything that you do, which might be in the next 10 to 15 years. Who knows? Maybe next 5 years. I don't know. Maybe it could be next year. Until then, I'm just going to be like, this is my chance to use it again, like a technological tool.
I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, I try to offload it. All the little tasks I don't want to do, exactly like you said. I don't like to do the budgeting. I hate writing copy for
Oh my
social
gosh.
posts, and even launching this podcast. Like as I'm an old millennial, I'm going to make jokes about this when I launch all the social things next week. But like in general, I'm an old millennial, a
Oh.
geriatric millennial, zentennial, whatever they call us now. And like in general, I don't really like social media. So I very heavily relied on AI to kind of help put a marketing plan together of just like, how frequently should I be posting? Where should I be posting? Like, do I have to get on TikTok? Like, please don't make me get on TikTok. Like,
Totally.
TikTok's not even
Totally.
available where I live. I have to get on a VPN to even download it. So I'm like, maybe that's not the avenue for me.
For
And
sure.
then I can spend more of my brain power being creative, as you said, thinking bigger, connecting the dots, leveraging my expertise in an area as opposed to doing the menial tasks and all the administrative things. Like if I can offload that to focus on other things, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway for me in events and marketing is let the AI do the little things and then help make it smarter so that your overall campaigns and business are smarter.
Definitely, and I think we're getting to this point too with the agianic revolution, which is the 2025 term, is like the idea like an agent to go out and do this work for you. Like I'm excited for a lot of that, like a little bit of stuff that I would just spend hours doing. Like ChatGPT is great. I haven't written a sentence anything longer than maybe 2 or 3 sentences in like
Yeah.
at least a year now. And so the next thing for me was like, how can I make sure that it's very knowledgeable as I need to get information? And like, so it just all this deep research stuff that's been out now for a few months is like really saved me a lot of time just to be like, okay, now go find this and like really think through why this is the best. Research like all the
Yeah.
specifications and the little nerdy things and stuff like that. Like maybe would have also taken me a few months to do. What's really interesting, I saw this on a show last night or some video, and it was kind of like talking about. I said like the thing I think we have to worry about most right now with like these deep research tools and their ability to like just do tasks for us is when does it start kind of like steering us in directions that it thinks we need to go? Not just like, hey, here's the best product. You still have the choice, but like someone brought up the point, like we're using this to research new hobbies. Like I don't know if you've done this in the last like
No,
year or
but maybe
something
I
like that.
should.
It's like, oh, I'm interested in getting in for example, I'm trying to think of something in this room that like okay, plants. So we got a new house, and so we're like putting plants everywhere, right? And it's one of these things where like we're researching what plants go outside, inside, and at some point, like it's helping me understand how to do plants and shortcut to get into that hobby. But at what point does it decide, hey, you should go from having plants to you should get another cat? Which did happen this weekend, but that the AI didn't make me do that. But at some point, like this stuff is going to start doing it. When does it start steering us? Not just in the like small decisions, what product to buy, what's the best, how do you do this thing, but instead it like is proactive to be like, hey, here's a push notification saying, I don't know if you knew about this, but like there's the ability to hybrid fuse a plant with a cat. hey, all you have to do is try this XYZ step. And, and then I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. And, it turns out that's a completely inhumane, terrible thing to do, is try to make a plant cat. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
sure.
you know
No,
where
but
I'm
I
going with
guess
this, all
it's
right?
kind of like if you like this, you might like that kind of thing, where
Yeah,
it's just
it's when
like
the
opening up
algorithm.
stuff you haven't even thought of before.
Totally, totally. I think it's when it's like when the AI data starts to combine with the algorithmic suggestions of what starts to happen. Like that's the thing that no
Yeah.
one's really quite realized yet, is like we are in such a greener pastures area right now where no one has quite figured out how to inject business purpose, like ads into this AI. But the second that you start being able to inject ads, and like there's a lot of like, oh man, there's a lot of crazy ways things can go for sure. It's like imagining you have a best friend and like their job is, and again, like I'm kind of an influencer too, so like I constantly suggest products, but my friends constantly are like, are these guys paying you? Like, I'm like, no, I just love this product so much. And yeah, sure, I have affiliate code, but the affiliate code's more so just the fact that I'd like to take advantage of the fact that I love this product.
For sure.
But
And we're
like,
going to get into your favorite things in our
okay.
dynamic dialogue segment, because it's one of my favorite things about your website.
Good, good, good. I love things for sure. But yeah, imagine like a world where like your digital assistant that's constantly on wakes up and goes, "Good morning, Megan. Today is like sunny. Would you like to go to Starbucks today?" And you're like, "I never go to Starbucks. Why are you suggesting I go to Starbucks?" And it's because it knows there's like a coffee routine you driving to work or whatever it may be,
Or
right?
like imagine if it connects like with if you wear an Aura ring or like your
Mm-hmm.
sleep app and be like, we noticed you had a bad sleep. Like
Oh,
maybe
for
you
sure.
needed a triple shot of espresso at Starbucks. Let
And
me
we
find
already
the
ordered
closest
it. It's
Starbucks
there
for
way
you.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already at your front door, by the way. I mean, there's some points where this is really exciting.
Yeah.
If we can be pushed in the right direction of like really healthy things, but let's be honest, like it might not. It might, and these are the questions I think we have to start asking ourselves, because this is, the conversation I think no one's having. Everyone's like, wow, this is so exciting. Or is it taking our jobs? But instead, this is where we get to get 7 layers deep from the question you asked, is like, where does this go? What's the unsafe version? Where's the bad things that can potentially happen from
Thousand
this, and how do
percent.
we protect ourselves from?
Yeah, we have Anka Trefan coming on, and that's one thing I want to talk to her about, because she's speaking a lot about AI. And while I'm using it and very optimistic, I also think, wow, this tool in the wrong hands is not good. So,
Definitely,
like, how
definitely.
do we protect ourselves? And the bottom line is AI is not going to take your job. You're worth more than $2,000 a month.
Yes,
That
definitely,
AI is a
definitely,
tool
definitely.
that you should use, and it won't replace you, I think,
For
is
sure.
the bottom
Everyone's
line.
very lucky right now that the AI has to have a human to prompt it. Until
Yes.
until the day comes where things are happening and things are getting done, and you just had no ability, like, until like all of a sudden you're like, hey, Will, like, thanks for emailing me yesterday to like catch up, and thanks for, and I got some time on your calendar, and I'm like, I didn't do that. Like, that's when we all have to start to go, like, there's something really, really bad happening. But again,
Yeah.
let's prepare for it by having the conversations now.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. It honestly reminds me, at some point it's going to get annoying how much I watch Parks and Rec in the office and keep referencing it. Bless you, bless you. It just
You need
reminds
to
me of
start, you got to start quoting it on the show,
the Grizzle episodes, and they're like data mining, and Grizzle's like, "Oh, we're going to data nudge you to a Starbucks." Like
I
we're the
don't
age
watch the
of
show, but I
Grizzle.
feel like I need to start watching Parks and Rec and just watch The Office at this point.
I mean, they're so good. So many good references in there.
Love
Okay,
it.
so last up, before we get into our after show segments, so it's time to event about it. It's the part of the show where our guest spills the tea on memorable event moments. Whether it's a huge success, a total disaster, or just pure chaos, we want to hear it all. So tell us a story of a crazy event moment. Again, it could be a big win or a total disaster or simply just chaotic moment.
So what's funny is I knew this was coming, and I was gonna have to have a story, and I said I was gonna think about it, and I don't have one, so we're gonna try to go off the cuff. And I'm at that point right now where I've like told so many stories on podcasts that like I try to like one up myself by thinking of like the most ridiculous thing. Like, I'm trying to pull the memory on my brain, so in 10 years from now I'll be like, oh, I have Alzheimer's. Please, I want to remember that story.
Of course.
Um, and so let's think of an absolutely bonkers thing that has happened. I haven't been in any situations where safety has ever been like compromised in any sort of way. Like, I've never seen a stage collapse, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't
Oof.
think I ever will now. Thank God I'm out of the production industry.
I mean,
Um,
rigging fail. We saw
yeah,
that happen last year. So sad, so scary.
oh my gosh, like I've seen where things like things like slip, but it's always the safety catches it or something like
Right.
that. I and I've never been like a part of something where like anything traumatic, like absolutely traumatic. I've been at like we were talking about this. I won't use this story because I use it all the time. Is like the story of when I was first starting my company. I had a didn't have a CRM and we implemented a CRM and I learned the problem of like I inputted the date, the time for the event, and then they changed the time, and I never updated in the CRM, and I ended up being late to the event. You know, this is 20 years ago, a million years ago,
Sure.
at this point. But the next thing I'm thinking about is I've never done anything where. Okay, so this is a funny story. Okay, I got a good one. I don't think I've ever
Okay.
shared this story before. So we're setting up for this event called Cake Fair. It's like a
Mm.
gigantic cake conference, the biggest one in like the country. And we were in Orlando and just setting up the stage. And, you know, we had like multiple screens, big production, video mapping. There was like no hold bar. We did everything for this event.
Are we like making
They
cakes?
made cakes on
We're
stage, yeah.
oh,
So like
made cakes
imagine
on
like
stage.
all the biggest Food Network people coming out on stage and like literally making a cake in front of your eyes and then talking through it. It was like a consumer facing show, but like
Okay.
also about like bringing together cake designers and things like that too.
Got
So
it.
um that's a little bit less important. It has nothing to do with the fact that this is what's about to happen. So we're setting up and we're like whenever we would do events, I loved getting around an event company and doing like the technical production because we got access to like the best sound systems, the best video screens. And so I loved like, especially the sound systems, like playing out like my favorite song at the moment and hearing it like as a personal concert. That was one of my favorite things. But one of the things I would always do too is like we'd be doing videos and sometimes like we'd be sitting there and we'd get the whole screen set up and then we're waiting. The lighting guys are programming. We're waiting maybe for like a scenic piece to arrive. You're just hurrying up and waiting. And
Right.
the video guy gets all the screens up and he's like, I think he's watching like Rick and Morty or something like that. We're all just watching Rick and Morty kind of event fell. Well, I think at some point I decided to get back and I was like, oh, I want to show you guys this YouTube video I remembered. And so there's a video called Cows, Cows, Cows. It's not like not safe for work. You can totally watch this video right now. I'd highly
Okay.
recommend everybody watch it. It's
Cows, cows,
okay,
cows.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
link to it in the show
Yeah,
notes.
it's a really cool YouTube video. Guy does these absolutely amazing visuals. But it's this video, it's like a cow, but then he morphs it into other things. And so it starts as like, and I'll try to describe it, is like it starts off like it's like just a cow in a field, and then he gets the cow to like bob its head, and then he gets the cow to like walk, and they're walking to the beat, and it's like na 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 na. It's
Okay.
like this repetitive, like kind of like techno loop music. And then as it's going, it's just getting a little bit more wild. Like then the cows start like bending their knees and bouncing up and down. And you know, and here's the thing: like we're in a convention center, and there's nobody but the people setting up the chairs, basically. And these guys are just setting up the chairs, and you know, they're just
As
looking.
you're having like a techno cow
Yeah,
video
yeah, and
to
then you know,
test your
and
equipment.
they just stop there and they just start watching it because it's really interesting to watch. Like it evolves
I
very very
mean, it's
quickly.
bopping cows to techno. I mean, what's more interesting?
It's so wild. So then what's funny is that then at some point in the video, the guy makes it so the cows become like spiders, where like the head of the cow is the head of the
Oh,
spider.
hell no.
Its legs are like cow
Nope.
bodies, and the other leg is another cow body, and it's these giant like cow spider thing. It's not
No.
scary at all, in my opinion. And I've shown this video to a lot of people. And what's funny is like at first, like this like video starts showing the bouncing cows and they start dancing and then they're bouncing around and things like that. And the guy there's this guy, he's like, oh, this is weird. And you see he's really into it. He's just staring at it. Whoa, whoa. Like I think he's verbally like, you know, talking through it. And then all of a sudden the spiders show up and he just goes, no, no. And like and first they're little spiders, and then they become like these giant like house spiders. And the guy's just like, nah, no way, man. No way. No way. And he walks out like in the middle of setting up chairs and has to walk out. Like he must have like arachnophobia or something
Has
crazy.
to.
I have no idea. But it was the funniest thing ever. Just like watching this guy basically like essentially like tripping out over like this cow video. And to this day, like anytime I think of that video or see that video, I just think of that guy like, nah, man, nah, man, nah, and like just having to leave. And it was just super funny too because we're in this like venue and we like the whole venue is like draped in white drape and everything's white for cakes and you know like white and pink, and it's just like this cow video gets him totally just
Worked
upset.
up.
Yeah, totally worked up, and it was so great. And it was like I was kind of proud in some ways that I showed a video that like just like created such a visual reaction in some ways. I think he ended up totally being okay, but it was just super funny.
Well,
Along
hopefully he
along
came
time.
back and finished sitting up the
Yeah, the
chairs.
chairs
Like,
totally like the event totally ended up happening. It was super
okay,
big
good.
success. Like, yeah, huge event. Yeah.
I thought you were going with that, like, oh, he got so freaked out by the spiders that he was like, nah, man, and just like walked off the job and was
Oh
like,
my
I'm done
gosh.
with events and never
Yeah,
came back
never
to
came back
finish
to the events
setting
industry
up
ever
the
again.
event.
I'm never doing this again, man. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel bad in some ways now. I say this story out loud to like the public and stuff, but yeah, they ended up being totally fine and stuff. And yeah. So cows. It's a great video. And for anyone out there who's like, I'm not watching that now. That sounds terrible. He got so scared. It's so super cool video. That Cyrac guy does like. He's the same guy who did the visuals for what's it called? Oh man, I don't remember. Like he's done visuals for a lot of like big artists and stuff like that.
It's
So
cool. We'll
he's done
check it
this
out.
one with Cats, which is like man, I'm just trying to remember the name of the artist, the rap artist that did a bunch of cat covers of their songs. But there's some trivia for somebody out there.
There we
Anyone,
go. We'll link to it in the show notes so people can check out
cows.
So, what is up next for Will? So, a lot of people also probably don't know about you that you've had a pretty epic 2024 adventure.
Yeah.
So, quickly tell us what your 2024 adventure was and what's up in 25. Where can
Oh
we
my
find
gosh.
Will?
I'm curious to know what you mean in this exact adventure. If
That
you
you
meant like
basically lived out of your car for an
oh yeah,
entire
okay.
year.
Okay, I'll go down this story. Okay, yeah. I was like, well, yeah, I had my
Well,
first
and
ever
you got
real job.
engaged.
I
Like,
got
that was
engaged.
exciting. You
I had
had a real
got
job,
a
but
real
like,
job. I
you
bought a
lived out of your car.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like this all kind of like relates a little bit to the getting married part, the getting a house part, becoming an adult, getting a job. But long story short of this was that like for main period time, I always told myself I was never gonna like buy a house. Met the girl of my dreams, Della, and we're getting married, which is super exciting. And basically we were like, okay, we're gonna get a house, and we decided Phoenix was where we're gonna put down some roots. We were stoked to be in Phoenix, so we're like looking at houses, and we're like, okay, I grew up all the time. This is a very long version of the story, so I apologize.
it's all good.
Is that I grew up like in the second oldest house in Phoenix, so I constantly had construction. My mom was like interior designer, so she's pulling out walls. There's nails sticking up. You never like could when you're downstairs getting a bagel in the morning before school. You're like, watch your feet. There's like rusty nails all over the place. We're like, there could be asbestos somewhere, and I just knew I never wanted to like renovate a house. I didn't want to be one of those people who's like, yeah, let's get this like house and like and spend months working on it while living it. No, thank you. So I was like, I'm going to buy a new house. That's a new build. Plus, like, I get it exactly where I want it. I move in and I'm happy, for the most part.
Ready to go.
I learned backyards are a thing, and you never want to always budget more for the backyard, right?
Exactly.
And so, we end up buying this house, and they were like, okay, cool. So it'll probably be finished like in June. We're like, oh, perfect. And like, I think we signed the paperwork in like December. And so we're like, okay, we got like 6 months. And as we were starting to approach, we knew our lease was ending like June 1st or something like that. And we were getting closer, and they're like, well, it might be June, it might be July. And I was like, okay, this is like, I stayed in touch with my like the general contractor who was running everything. And he's like, we're looking around these dates. And it was one of these things where I was like, it was going to be on like 3 or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks after our lease had ended. And I'm entrepreneurial, so I like to think out of the box. And Dell and I were kind of sitting here going, well, we could just renew our lease and go like month to month. But at this point, we really wanted to get out of the house that we were in because
Sure.
if you're in Phoenix, your AC is running like all the time in the summer, and June is like this in summer. The AC is running constantly as hard as it can go.
It's a sauna.
And and the hardest part was this house had like a 2-story big room, so the AC bill was like out of this control. Like it was like $1,000 a month for like AC, which is not normal. Like you can get an efficient AC. This house, like the AC, electrical bill during summer is like $100. That just shows you how inefficient that house was.
For sure.
And so we're like, okay, well, we could go like, continuing this, but like, I don't want to pay all this money for electrical just to keep the house like cool and like not melting. And so like, we were like, well, we're also going to be driving across the country to go to Electric Forest. Electric Forest is like the one event per year that we like music festival we have to go to.
Sure.
Absolutely amazing event. I've talked so much about it. Just Googled the words Will Curran Electric Forest, and you'll hear me talk about this stuff in great detail. Anyway, so we knew we were going to drive across country from Michigan for this, and we wanted to hit some national parks along the way and extend our trip a little bit. We're like, why don't we do it where we just like really take a long extended trip, and we just live out of our electric truck and camp for like 3 months. So we basically from June until September, which was technically a month like after the house was finishing being built, but we like went through the whole trip, drove across the country. We saw something like 12 different national parks, camped everywhere. and I had Starlink on the roof of the truck, bonded with a 5G connection. So I was literally working on the road the entire time. And then along the way, on the way back, we met because of Crater Lake. I had never been to Crater Lake before, but that's a longer story to put in. And I decided to propose to Della at Crater Lake, which was pretty cool. And so it was just like this cute, cool accumulation. She had no idea what was going to happen, but every single time we were driving back, she just wanted to go home and get to the house. And I was like, no, we have to go to Crater Lake. We have to go to Crater Lake. And she just didn't understand because she's definitely the more outdoorsy person than I am, but I really like it. She's getting me very, very much into it. And I was just like, I have to go to Crater Lake. She's like, why did you really want to go to Crater Lake? We can go another time. It's not a big deal. I was like, we have to go to Crater Lake. It's because like I had the ring. I was planning this whole thing, and like, yeah, I ended up surprising her at it and blowing her mind.
I mean, amazing.
The event planner and me.
Well, of course, and the fact that you're engaged and she's still marrying you after you lived out of your car with your dog for like 4 months is
definitely.
pretty
And
insane.
with our dog too. Yeah, our dog was with us. We wanted to bring the cat, but the cat just like at that point just was not interested in being in the car. But maybe this summer we'll take him with us or something like that. We'll see.
Well, at some point you'll have to come back and come visit me outside of Glacier.
100%. Yeah, you guys, you got to visit Megan. She's got an amazing place.
Yes, out here in Montana, it's pretty special.
Yeah, don't tell everyone about Montana. That's definitely I think where I'm going to be going to retire. So shh.
Yeah, don't tell anyone that. So where can we find you in 2025? What's next for you?
So the new big news for Will is that so I'm actually taking a little bit of hiatus from Bizzabo. My job basically was to spread the gospel of Click, and we saw huge success. I increased revenue by like 350%, pipeline by like 200%, like just absolutely huge success when it came to it, and built all these systems and stuff, and just kind of like realized like we built it and did everything I needed to do. And so like kind of handed them the torch, and now Click is just growing on its own, kind of similar to what I did at Endless. And so kind of starting to figure out what my next adventure is. I have big news to share. I can't share it on this podcast quite yet, but in the next week or so, I will be sharing some big news on what my next journey will be. But in the meantime, I'm spending a lot of time still doing my daily live stream now. So come check me out on LinkedIn, and I basically cover the news, the trends, and then usually when there's a title of an article that like sparks something, and be like, hey, you guys, like I'll like diatribe for it for like 5 minutes to be like, why this is a bigger thing than you probably realize. Or like sometimes you'll hear me talk about cool tech that I'm kind of watching and keeping an eye on, that how it affects like the marketing and business worlds. Very much so. And so, so that's kind of the big thing right now. It's daily live stream. I got big things coming in the next
Where can we follow you for this big announcement coming in a few weeks?
So LinkedIn's where I live. It's the only place, only social media I have. So just, Will Curran. And then if you ever want to like follow me and just know where I am at all times, you already know my website, willcurran.com is a great place to go and have links to all my stuff. I'm also on the personal side of things, obviously I have a house now. So this is like the new like fun project to work on, but I'm reinvigorating my passion, going all the way back to how I got the events industry through DJing. So actually reinvigorating my DJ brand, coming out of retirement, and launching a bunch of merch, and building up a fan base again, and all these things like that. So you're gonna hear a lot about my DJ career probably soon, but that's just the side fun project. I'm still doing a ton of stuff in the corporate events industry, and got a big announcement coming real soon.
Well, you can hire Will for your event strategy and your DJ needs.
100%. My Zoom calls are the best because I just like play music while I'm waiting for people, and then they're like, "Hey, come in," and it's just like a party. And that's the best way to start a Zoom call, like,
The absolute best way.
Definitely.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Event About It, where we turn event mishaps into marketing gold. If you enjoyed the chaos, subscribe, leave a review, share this with somebody who needs a good laugh. And don't forget to head over to eventaboutitpodcast.com to send us your events and stories to be featured on a future episode. And while you're there, be sure to join the Squared Squad, where you can access bonus content, engage with episode guests, and catch the Event About It after show for dynamic dialogue with Will Curran, where we're going to talk AI impacts on marketing, growing your business, lessons in building a community, and the future of wearable tech. Until next time, keep growing, keep laughing, and definitely keep eventing about it.